Moving on to the last game of Super Wildcard Weekend. This game could be nasty. Bills play the Steelers. Steelers go to Buffalo and play in a very low projected totaled game. Steelers are plus 9.5 as they head into Buffalo. The point total is sitting at 35.5. It's going to get ugly. Brendan, what were the weather conditions expected for this game?
I think it was mid-20s, kind of windy. But
Yeah,
both of them are used to that. They're both up. They're probably not even that far from each other. Probably less than about 200 miles from each other, maybe less.
Yeah. So
Pittsburgh, Buffalo.
So something to take a note here. I think it also might snow. Potentially. No,
That's
don't
sick.
quote me on that. I saw potentially might snow. It says snow showers likely, cloudy with a high near 27, breezy, chance of precipitation. So at that point it would be snow, 60%. So it's going to be a slog of a game. And we see that in the point total at 35.5, which is crazy because the Steelers are nearly 10-point underdogs. So Buffalo's coming off of a really exciting win against Miami. Kind of felt like they needed a little bit of luck to win. You know, kudos to the Bills and their success. They certainly turned it around. But, you know, talking about the Miami game, if they didn't have the kick return for a touchdown, you know, we may be looking at a little bit of a different game. So again,
that was awesome.
Not taking away. It was truly special. This team,
cool.
They have the ability to beat anybody in any facet of the game, offense, defense, or special teams. And as we're previewing this, the Bills' defensive roster, comparative to the talent that they had, they lost guys like Matt Milano at the beginning of the season. They lost Tre'Davious White in that London game. So with the lack of talent that they have on the defensive side of the ball, Sean McDermott's done a great job of forcing this team to overachieve compared to the actual roster that they have. If we scroll over, or if I scroll over, if we look at some of the EPA stuff, Buffalo's 8th overall in offensive EPA per play allowed. They're top 10 in the league. And looking at their roster, their defensive roster, I would not have guessed that. But Sean McDermott working his voodoo magic. But flip it over, same with the Steelers. Unfortunately, they did lose TJ Watt due to an MCL injury. But Steelers 10th overall in offensive EPA per play allowed on the defensive side of the ball. Of course, the disparity is the offense, where Buffalo is 2nd overall in EPA, Steelers 21st. And I have to bring up the idea, I expect Mason Rudolph to start, but I would not be shocked if they started Kenny Pickett.
No.
I know that there's some controversy about what should happen in this game, but I expect them to roll out Mason Rudolph. I won't be surprised if they go back to Kenny Pickett. But I'm going to preview this game and break it down in the idea that Mason Rudolph will be playing. So, Brendan, Steelers are your team, man. I want to hear how you feel about this game and what you think is going to happen. Steelers plus 9.5 on the road in Buffalo. Let me know what you think.
Let me tell you, I'm going to give you, I think the highest percentage is that the Steelers lose this game. Okay, but let me paint a picture of how they're going to win this game. Okay, first of all, I think they're going to cover because I think the under is going to hit because the weather's going to kind of suck and it's just going to be kind of gross.
Yeah.
So, because of that, a couple of big plays away from changing the whole game. I think that the only way, and you better clip this, okay? The only way the Steelers win is if they have 3 takeaways. Josh Allen will throw at least one pick. At least one. He averages like 1.1. He'll throw at least one pick. But if they can, the only way they're going to win this game is if Josh Allen loses this game. Truly. I just don't think they have the firepower on offense to keep up, but I do think it'll be a low-scoring game. So I think there's a couple avenues to the Steelers winning this game. However, it's got to come through the defense, and not having TJ Watt is huge.
Yeah, and Steelers are actually the 4th best team in terms of EPA per dropback allowed. and of the teams in the playoffs, including the 1 seeds who aren't playing in the Ravens and the 49ers. So there's a chance, there's a small chance, but there's a chance that, and you know what? It's funny because I think if you ask any Steelers fan, they would want this type of game because I think that opens the doors for Mike Tomlin to do his voodoo magic where he drags the team down to play really nasty football and takes advantage of it. So
it's awesome.
I think that the Steelers are actually happy that it's going to be in bad conditions because that bodes well for the way that their team plays the game. I think the Steelers play nasty football better than anybody. So I think if they had it their way, this is what they would have chosen. This is the game, and they would have wanted a ugly, bad weather slugfest where your defense is really going to have to be the primary component of the game. Now, looking at the model, what the model says, and again, I say this in every tweet, the model doesn't account for injuries, weather, or vibes, denoting weather here, since it doesn't know that it's going to be snowy and below 30 degrees. The model has the Bills -7 at a game total where the scores look to be about 24-17 Bills. So definitely higher than the projected point total, and the point spread being a little bit lower. But again, that doesn't take into weather, so you have to read the fine print. So with that being said, I think the Bills, I'm taking the Bills. It's way more probabilistically likely, but I have to give the credit to the Steelers and the fact that, again, if this was the type of game that they wanted to play in, this would be it. This is the type of game that the Steelers and Mike Tomlin can outdo the other team. They can play the gross games better than every other team in the league. So I wouldn't put it past them if they kept it close. I wouldn't put it past them if they, forced the Bills to win on a last-minute field goal. Yeah, but
I like a 20-17. 20-17 Buffalo.
Right.
So I think pretty accurate.
Yeah, and the way I can see this happening, like Bills covering, is like I could see it 17-7. Due to the script of the way that this game profiles, I could see it being like 17-7 or 20-10. I could definitely see that. So for me, it's tough to sit here and take a spread because it's such a big spread, especially in a playoff game. I kind of want to take the Steelers, but in a game where I think there's going to be a tremendous lack of offense, I don't really like necessarily taking a side on that. If I had to choose, gun to my head, I'm taking the Bills in the event that I don't think the Steelers will be able to score in bad weather and against this overachieving Bills defensive unit. But the thing is that I don't necessarily have the confidence that the Bills will be able to put up a lot of points. So that's where the caveat is. 42% of the total tickets are on the Steelers. Consequently, that means the Bills have 58% of the tickets. However, 60% of the money is on Steelers to cover +10. So take that as you will, with a grain of salt, whatever you may be. But this game is going to be ugly, and I'm low-key really excited for it because I'm just very interested to see how both teams broach this game. It's definitely going to be a strategy game at this point. We'll see Mike Tomlin, he's one of the best to ever do it, hands down. So he will absolutely keep them in this game regardless of who trots out their quarterback. And I expect him to pull out some voodoo and make this game closer than what Bills fans would like it to be.
If we play Pickett, we'll get rocked. We'll get rocked.
Really?
Yep.
Do you think it's like team locker room vibes?
Yeah, bad locker room, yeah.
Fair.
We'll get rocked.
All right, man. Hey, that wraps it up for our wild card weekend preview, man. We got tons of games to watch, guys. We appreciate you watching. We will be back here next week to talk divisional rounds. Don't miss out. We'll talk to you guys later.